Hi everyone, welcome to the Leadership Q&A for Spirits of Arianwyn.
You said our name wrong.
Ah, here we
I
go.
was just going to say that.
Arianwyn.
Arianwyn. Welcome to the Leadership Q&A for Spirits of Arianwyn. Oh shit. Shit.
Oh my god, that's so great!
Wow.
Good, let Ray try.
No, I like it better when you do.
Yeah.
You're doing much better.
How do you say? Right, repeat it one more time. How do you pronounce it?
Arianwyn.
Arianwyn.
It's been 5
Okay.
years and he's still not got it.
Almost 6 years. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Leadership Q&A for Spirits of Arianwyn. Okay, my name's Scotty. I'm one of the Spirits of Arianwyn founders, and I said it wrong, didn't I? Hi, my name's Scotty, and I'm one of the SoA founders. I've been in SoA since it started almost 6 years ago. Founded it with Ray. I'm still very happy.
Hi, I'm Ray, and I think Scotty just more or less introduced me, so I don't have to say much. Well, it was a lot of fun starting the clan. We had no idea how it was going to go, really, but yeah, very happy with how it's going and still going.
Hello, I'm Dan Aglarian. I joined SoA in 2012 and I'm currently Eldar of Resources.
Hi, I'm Erica Elks. I think I joined in 2010, and I'm one of the elders of events.
Oh yeah, it's my turn. Hi, I'm Sander, or Sergeant Pepper. I joined almost 2 years ago, and I recently got promoted to Lead of Recruitments. Previously, I was on staff for a bit over a year.
Hi, I'm Roving. I'm now an admin for SoA, so that's kind of all the web systems. And I joined SoA back in 2010, back when it began actually.
So hello, I'm Joran, or Joe, as most call me. I'm an Eldar of events, and I only recently became Eldar.
So the first question is asked by Manny or Painforest. For Ray, why were the symbols of the clan flags chosen to be R's?
This is more of a Scotty question, but when we wanted to choose the symbols, we were looking for something that matched the theme of the clan. And our theme was nature, and the god we'd chosen was Guthix. So that was why the Guthix symbol. And the bird was nature. But then when we actually were fiddling around with the Vex and we put the two symbols together, we ended up with the bird on top and then the Guthix symbol underneath. And then some comments might have been made. Do you remember what they were, Scotty?
Yeah, I think surrounding the nature aspect of it, I commented on how it looked like the bird was pooing, and it looked like the bird had pooed on the floor, which kind of fitted with the nature aspect.
And I think it was Raven who actually said straight away, "Oh, sold! I'm joining this clan."
Yep.
Okay, Ray and Scotty. John here asks, what inspired the elvish theme of the clan?
That's a difficult one.
It actually we was so when we first created SOA, a lot of the creation and the discussion actually happened on IRC, which was the most popular chatting system back then, over 6 years ago. And at the time, me and Ray, like we'd left our old clan because we kind of had enough of clans at the time, but we kind of got talking about how, what we liked about clans, what we didn't like about clans, and then we kind of started talking about what it would be like if we made our own clan. And when we eventually got to the point where we did decide that we wanted to make a clan, picking a theme was quite difficult at first, and we was talking about it for hours. And I think we came across the elvish idea, I think based on colours, wasn't it, Ray? We started off with a colour and then we thought, well, green is kind of elvish. Is that right?
Yeah, it was a bit like green was nature, the colour of nature as well. And then we thought elves kind of seemed to go with nature because we'd tried a few other things like dwarves and gnomes and gods, and none of them really seemed to fit, and
No.
they just didn't seem to work.
Can you imagine if we'd gone with a dwarf theme? It just wouldn't make sense.
I'm a dwarf master,
Yeah.
hammering
Oh.
everyone down.
But the elves seem to fit in terms of there was a whole elvish language, so we could get rank names and all sorts of things from there. And there were elves in game, so it fitted with the RuneScape theme. So it worked on several levels.
Yeah,
And now we got our own city.
Yeah, exactly. I think that actually is something we talked about, wasn't it? I think, if I remember, is we all kind of looked at the elf part of the map and said, like it's actually quite a large part of RuneScape's history. And then when we saw that the empty space at the top, like obviously we didn't know that an elf city was going to come this soon, or actually it could have done, but I think I remember saying, oh, that would be a nice home for us eventually, or so all the dots kind of connected. And I think it's similar to one of those things, like in a discussion, when something feels right, you just go with it. Like Ray said, when we talked about dwarves and all that sort of stuff, it just didn't feel right. But as soon as we came up with the elvish idea, it kind of just went straight to the heart, and we kind of connected with it.
Okay. So, Cougar here asks, what made you give up the RS clan PvP life and such for Skiller clan?
Have you ever seen me PK or go to war? I die a lot, but dramatically, while yelling, "Don't kill me, I'm pregnant," and things like that. But yeah, I die.
You were a funny PKer.
I was actually very, very bad at it. I was very persistent. I kept going back. But yeah, we talked about that, and PKing was kind of dying at the time. And we did realize that neither of us were really very good at PKing or warring.
Not at all.
Yeah, we sucked.
I think I wouldn't necessarily say it was the PvP was the reason, because why we left as such as well. There are lots of other contributions, like the being held back, or the pressure of being in a clan that's got requirements like activity requirements, or getting told off if you don't turn up for events, and those sorts of things. And that was common for most clans back then. It wasn't just it was quite common for most clans, because PvP clans were kind of really around then. Like, you had skilling and community clans, but they weren't like they are today. So I think it was a mix of not really connecting with the PvP aspect, but also wanting a little bit more freedom without the pressure and the burden, so that we could just enjoy the game.
I was going to say, we had a talk and we figured out the clan had to suit us. It had to fit Scotty and Ray. So we had to look at, well, what do we really want to do? What do we like doing in RuneScape? What are we going to be able to sustain? And at the time, warring and PKing was on its downward spiral, that's for sure. And so we made the clan around what we thought we'd enjoy.
So, we've talked about how did you come up with the idea of the clan, but Your Angel asks, how did you come up with the name?
It's kind of connected to how we discovered when we felt like the Elvish theme was right, really. When we decided that elves was something that we wanted to go with, the name was then discovered by us kind of exploring the Elvish area, looking for inspiration. And I think it was you that actually came across Arianwyn, Ray, because I don't think I could enter that part of the map yet, but you could. And I think it was your suggestion, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And with the spirits part, we went back and forth on lots of different things. This was actually really difficult, because every time we'd come up with a name, it'd be too close to something other clans had, because we kept searching other clans' names and Googling. And then all the initials would be really bad, which is another funny story. We didn't realise our initials weren't very good.
Our initials actually mean STD in Dutch.
Yep.
Totally.
I think there was actually at one point our clan name was in dispute with Jagex because a Dutch player had reported us, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
crazy.
remember that. We didn't know at the time that SoA meant that until after we'd done everything, and Joey was waiting in the wings, kind of going, "Are you ready? Are you ready? Have you sorted it? Can I do the website?" are you ready now? Are you ready? And he was a bit anxious to get going. And so as soon as we told him everything, he just had it all set up in the blink of an eye. And
Yeah.
then when we realized SOA meant STD, we were like, should we change this? But it was already all done by then.
Yeah, the domain had been registered, the forums were up, we were already looking at skins, and it would have been awkward for Joey to go back and change it all after it had been paid for. But I think something we've probably forgotten about is also, we didn't just see Arianwyn and say, oh, that's a cool name. We actually considered the lore around him. So, like, we liked the sound of Rebel Elves of Lieta. Like, that was quite a nice slogan that we thought sounded quite cool.
Yep.
I was gonna say, you considered changing the name to Sofa for a while.
Oh, yes, we did.
SOA.
Yeah, come and join SoFA. Come and join SoFA.
Do you want to say some more about that, Erica?
I'm not sure there was much more besides that to say, other than we gave it up and decided we'd rather be STDs than sofas.
Yep. And we
Bit
just went back
both.
to laughing at ourselves again because you shouldn't take things too seriously. So we decided we'd be the rebel elves with the bird pooping cape and STD.
Okay. Scotty was wondering, Ray, if you could go back and do one thing differently regarding SOA's creation, what would it be? You can't say created with someone else.
Oh, I'm not allowed to say that. Okay.
Get a different logo?
No, I find that quite funny. I like the amusing stuff. The one thing I probably would do differently was that someone decided very early on, we had to use an FC then because we didn't have a clan chat. There was no CC. And somebody named it Elvish Garden. I probably wouldn't have gone with that.
Sorry.
I don't know if I should tell them what we actually said.
Okay, let's move on to the other leadership members, because they're sitting there listening and laughing.
That's funny and nice to
Okay, Erica, what is your favorite memory within the leadership team since you became an elder?
Probably meeting up with everybody at RuneFest, because we usually have a good portion of the leadership team there, and we usually have a meeting or two, and that's a lot of fun, getting to meet everybody in person.
Yeah, about RuneFest. Your Angel asks, will the clan attend RuneFest next year? Well, I can personally say yes, but...
The thing with RuneFest is, originally, were you at 2010 RuneFest, Ryan Scotty?
We
Yeah.
were.
So
Yep.
there you are then. So 2010 RuneFest, it was the first year that SOA had existed. It was a small gathering, but since then, 2011, 2013, 14, 15, we've always grown. We've always had more people there than before. Last year we had about 16, 17. This year we had 26. We continually have a growing presence at RuneFest, and I really look forward to seeing how many people we get in 2016. We're currently the biggest clan to go to RuneFest.
Oh, that's cool.
I think we're running out of width for the camera as well, aren't we? Like with every single year, the camera has to be more further away from the group because we're struggling to get everyone in.
Good point. Martin was actually at that very first RuneFest as well.
Yes, it was interesting actually. It's quite interesting how far back we go now when you look at not just RuneScape, but kind of like everything around it. Because back then, that was the first time that kind of Jagex staff had met players and were allowed to say that they worked for Jagex kind of outside of Jagex. So before that, people would deny or it would be very secretive. But then as soon as that kind of hit, everything kind of took off. So back in 2010, we had kind of people that came along to unofficial gatherings before, and you just wouldn't know who they were. But now kind of they turn up and whatever. But back then, there was only a few clans. Well, I think maybe 4 or 5 that kind of actively recruited at that RuneFest. I think that was back when His Lordship had his kind of YouTube famous ish rant about was it just his famous rant? And it's just interesting to see how clans have grown, how the events grown around RuneFest, because it was such a kind of interesting thing to see, just players in real life, people that you're speaking to for years and years and years, because obviously RuneScape has existed since 2001 or before that. So seeing all of those people in the flesh kind of really brought it home, and kind of I think that RuneScape got a bit friendlier after that, especially our community, because people know each other face to face, opposed to just as other people on the other end of a computer.
Yeah, that's a good point. It did all have to be really secret before then. Jane mods weren't allowed to kind of out themselves. Not in that way.
And now they've got Twitter and everything.
Yep.
Those events and it has brought, I think, the RuneScape community closer together, and I think that is a contributing factor to the growth of clans and the growth of successful community clans like ours, because people want that friendship, they want that group of friends.
Okay, Sander.
Yeah.
Question for you. Why is the recruitment your favorite team, and is being line of recruitment what you expected it to be?
Right, so the first question. I think it's the best team because we are the team that brings constantly new life into the CC. So we are kind of the team that helps like give the clan like birth to new people. Like we just like constantly like bring new life into the CC, and I just really like that aspect. Like I get to talk to a lot of interesting people through interviews. I help people out, like getting to know the clan a bit, like settle in. Also the Tyler team does it, of course, but just like constantly fueling the CC with new life. I really like doing that. And as for being a Leon, yeah, it is what I expected, so there aren't any surprises or anything. I just like, coordinate stuff more. I help Ray and Scotty out to admin stuff. Like I do promotions and everything. I can make the process more smoothly, so that's really nice.
I was going to say that you're our Khalees. You're making the milkshake to bring all the boys to the yard.
Wow.
That's one way to look at it.
That's a really, really interesting thought.
Yeah.
What were you expecting as a line of recruitment?
Well, just like you do more admin stuff and you have more responsibilities, but I had been on the recruitment team for over a year previously, so it's not like I didn't know what was expected. I constantly work together with like the people on the leadership of my team, so it's not like you don't know what they do, you just don't do it yourself. So there wasn't really any surprises. I really knew what was expected.
And doing a most excellent job too, may I add.
Thanks,
Certainly. Certainly. What made you want to progress up to leadership in SoA, and is it what you expected?
I don't think it's a personal choice really. I think leadership asks you if you want to step up. And if you feel comfortable, you accept it and go for it. You embrace the additional responsibility you get, and you try to commit yourself more to the clan, really.
And what kind of responsibilities do you have right now?
I'm trying to host events and make sure other staff host their events, and basically I see events team more as a community role. Make sure people enjoy themselves in the clan and pretty much enjoy the game, really.
Ah, that's very nice. Is it what you expected?
Yeah, it's really what I wanted to do.
Hey Ray, a question. Where did you get the wooden spoon?
I can't actually remember how that came about. It was obviously the Coloromancer's chest, if that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. in, under Lumbridge Kitchen. That's where it came from. I think it just came because of the kind of the mother reference, that people often see me as kind of like the mother, and mother wields the wooden spoon.
The wooden spoon P plus 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 plus.
Yes, it's poisoned, and that's why it's very powerful. And it actually only needs to be waved around. It never has to actually smack anyone, because if you just wave it around, everyone behaves.
Ray
Okay.
also has a notorious stare that shrivels testicles at 20 paces.
What? What?
That's right. It's mean mother glare. Every mother has it.
That's why she was a brilliant PKer.
And Ray, Rod asks, if you could steer one sauce with the spoon, what sauce would it be?
That would have to be the saucy sauce where you give cheek to everybody. Because I don't actually cook, so it couldn't be any other kind of sauce, could it?
Oh,
Oh.
Does Guard cook then? Or
Yeah, he cooks. I
nice.
used to cook, but I'm over it now.
okay. So, Scotty and Ray, how were the teams made? How was everything when you just founded the clan?
I think the teams that we've made are actually kind of, it wouldn't be right to take credit for the general teams themselves, because I think the teams that we made are quite common in most communities, like your events team, your recruitment team. I suppose the teams that are quite unique to SoA, the resources team, that's quite unique, I think, because most of the time in other clans, kind of all the staff kind of chip into that, whereas we kind of liked the idea of there being like an elvish resources team that kind of takes care of all of that sort of stuff with good precision. I think the Tylar team is similar to a mentoring system that can be in quite other clans, but in SoA we wanted the mentor team to be more about connecting with new members, making them feel welcome, always having someone to talk to, keeping them interested, all that sort of stuff. I think that's probably quite unique, but I'd say it's the case of the teams that we have are quite common for most communities. You need these teams to function. We also didn't want people to feel overworked as well, because we didn't want staff to feel like they were having to do so much that they didn't get to play the game either. So we didn't really feel like we could have too many staff, if that made sense. We always had enough to make sure that people could still log in and enjoy the game, chat, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you're doing a good job with that so far.
Thanks.
Scotty, I have one question. Were the teams in the beginning different than they are now?
I'd say the teams are the same, but they've evolved. I think they've grown in purpose and grown in skill. I think at first the recruitment team just did just push through applications and introductions, whereas now it's grown to be more about external recruitment in terms so reaching out to people. We've started on social media, so trying to get our name out there in social media to raise the reputation of SoA, but also bring in some new fresh talent. I think the resources team have become far more independent and intelligent in what they do. So I think we find efficient ways to do things now based on what they've been doing. So we've got used Google Docs to do things. Don't really have any overwhelming tasks anymore, because the resources team tend to find intelligent solutions to them. The events team, they're not just events anymore. There's a good background to the events. They've got a good theme. They're interesting. They're unique. So I think credit goes to the people that run those teams at the time, in the present and in the past. I think what's nice is that they're not just standard teams. They've grown because people have passion for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Can I add to that? think that also the way that the teams have grown is kind of how the community's evolved generally, going back to just kind of like we never used social media in the start because that was never really used for RuneScape, but then everybody kind of got onto Twitter, and that's kind of a major part of RuneScape now, part of the community. So kind of responding to that and taking it forward has meant that we've always been one of the kind of more successful clans in that respect, because we've followed, we've not waited, we've kind of proactively gone and said, okay, we're going to have our Facebook and Twitter, even if it's not massive at the moment, just so we're kind of on it.
Absolutely.
And Martin, you manage our forums together with Joey. How did you end up in SoA?
That is a good question. So I've been playing originally since I joined the game in 2008, and that was after kind of when you're just going into your teens, you kind of got RuneScape and then you got a million accounts. Like I wouldn't even know how many accounts are under my name just because I would forget the password. I'd go over to my friend's house that was across the road when I was living in a certain place, and we'd play. And then by the time I got to go back the next time, I was like, I've forgotten my details. So kind of playing the game, I kind of started to get into clans, and then started to get into mini games. So I met Ray within a kind of specialist group called Claymates, RS Claymates,
Yep.
something like that. So together, we kind of ran that for a long time. So just helping people get their clay, managing sessions, because we would play non-combat. It would be people we're just making sure that people aren't taking the piss almost, just going killing people. We'd kind of lead people to get them out of the game, kind of protecting people. And then kind of me and Ray became friends in RuneScape, and then eventually she came over to the UK, but then we still talked a fair bit while she was coming over. She's like, making this clan. It's not happening at the moment whilst I'm traveling, but it's getting there. You should join it. So I joined it. We met. In fact, Scotty, Ray, and I, and our friend Nick met at the same time in my hometown, and that was really cool. And then they invited me to. Oh God, we went up on the Hoe, which the Hoe is quite famous in history. Unfortunate name. But it's a kind of landmark in my hometown, and so that's how I became part of SoA.
Can
We
I
took
just
a long way
clarify
around there,
that?
didn't we?
Can I just clarify that the landmark is referencing isn't a human being? Just to...
So SoA is a clan of STDs with birds pooping that was discussed at length on the Hoe.
Yeah,
That's it.
that's
Actually,
it.
I think we were all in Starbucks and we just met Martin, and he said, "Oh, okay, do you want to go for a walk? I want to take you up on the Hoe." I think my face might have been a picture. But unknown to Martin, Scotty and I had already been discussing him, and as Martin said, I was away overseas, so we delayed starting the clan until I came back because we thought that it would be too difficult. But we discussed what we wanted for SoA, and we knew we wanted wonderful forums and amazing stuff. And I thought, yeah, Martin's it. So we decided we'd go in real life recruit our first person. So we arranged to meet him and went with Nick, and we drove from, I drove from Portsmouth to Plymouth. Yeah, in a day, and we met him at Starbucks with Nick and Scotty and I, and then we went up on the Hoe, and then we said hooray and got him to join. He agreed to join. We said right, good, and then drove back from Plymouth to Portsmouth.
Garth was at a steam train convention at the time, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. And we were late back. He wasn't very impressed.
Okay, so Martin, how have the forums evolved in the past 5 years in your eyes?
It's all about web technology, I think. If you think that we were, so back in 2010, it was kind of 3.3 of the last forum software. And that wasn't terribly responsive, and kind of the internet hadn't gone as mobile centric as it had now. So when we started it, it was a nice forum software, and we had all the things that we wanted. But I think that just as we've gone further, just with like the new editor and kind of new notifications and just things that we can do, we can take it further. And that's only going to kind of get better as the technology behind it improves. I do say improves, and I do promise that everything will improve, but there are glitches, and if they're urgent, we sort them immediately. We kind of, before we upgrade to the new ones, we have a few months where we're trialing their software on kind of a test version of ours, just to check that things don't break. We're not gonna all run around like we've lost our heads for a couple of days, just wondering what the hell's happened. So we do test it all, but things do occasionally go wrong with software. And it's the same with RuneScape, it's the same with SoA.
So, when things go wrong and forum breaks or Ray pushes a wrong button occasionally.
Don't always worry about buttons, please don't.
On one occasion, there was a giant red button added to the top of the shout box that said, "Do not push this button."
From Josh
Yeah.
1391.
And everyone got a bit of a telling off.
You see, because it said don't push it, but you were actually supposed to push it, and that was a mixed message.
Yeah, I kind of didn't handle that well, did I? We won't talk about that. Oh, we are.
We've got to make fun of you for it for the last several years, though, so it's all worked out well.
So,
Yeah.
Martin, what has been the funniest incident on the forums for you?
Oh,
Funniest. Difficult question.
Or was it not fun at all?
What was the most amusing thing to break?
the forums full stop, trying to work out what the hell happened. No, it's hard to answer because really, the forums are something that you can kind of have fun with visually, but they have to be functional because they're quite key to the clan. So you can't really have fun as such because kind of it's just by having fun you'd kind of break something else, and that's not what we want to happen because that kind of breaks a bit of trust. Just like everything that goes wrong kind of breaks a bit of trust for people with external websites. So I don't know really how to answer that.
Right.
It'd be a good idea to kind of, for each of us to go through, we joined SoA, how we came across SoA.
Okay.
I know a funny story about Erica.
Oh?
Hello.
Oh.
When
It
you
involves
became...
sewing.
Ah, yeah, that one. No, this was another one I was thinking of when we were talking to you about if you would take on the role of Eldar for us. One of the questions one of the things I said to you, I don't know if you remember, was, you need to be able to do some of the hard things too, like you have to be able to, tell someone they're out of the clan or whatever. And do you remember what you said?
I think it was along the lines of I tell people that their family members died, so I figured I could handle that.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, the whole doctor thing.
For some
For those
reason,
of you
I
who
thought that
don't
was
know,
hilarious.
for those who don't know, I'm an in real life doctor in the emergency department. So, it's not as weird as it sounds.
That's where the sewing comment kind of came in somehow.
Yeah. When we first decided that we were going to make a Vexillum to take to RuneFest, we were inquiring kind of, who can sew things, and we think about clan capes as well. And I think it was you, Ray, who said that Erica would be good at that because she sews up people.
Actually, I think I said I can only sew people. But yeah, something along those lines. I can't sew things, just people.
Yeah, that's how it came out. We said, someone said, oh, maybe Erica can sew. She said, I only sew people. And she said that in the CC, and it's one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in the CC.
Well, I'm fixing them.
Like robots.
Okay, so Ray and Scotty, you mentioned that you wanted to create a clan that you would both enjoy to be in. Could you describe what the most important thing about SoA is to retain the value you both intended to have? You get that?
Yeah, I didn't know whether Scotty was first. Are you there, Scotty?
You can go first.
The most important thing, I would have to say two things. Friendship and respect would be the most important things to me. That's what I would like to be surrounded by, and that's what I would like everyone else to feel like they had with SoA.
And Scotty?
Definitely what Ray said. You can't argue with that at all. I think it's probably not the answer that you're expecting, but I'm trying to think of the pet peeves that I used to have with clans I was in previously, and it's a bit like, you know, when you're a manager in real life, you don't want to be the bad that you saw in your old manager, if that makes sense, or in your current manager, and it's kind of like a similar principle for when we created SoA. And something that I used to be a pet peeve of mine in old clans, and that I noticed a lot of people used to be upset with, is the higher up you go, in terms of hierarchy. We don't like to call it hierarchy, but, you know, in ranks. So like if you go from a member to a staff, and then a staff to an advisor, and an advisor to a leader, that sort of stuff. In most clans in the past, the higher up you go, the less you do, and the more pressure there is on the people that just join at the, you know, like as just a general member of staff. And when we created SoA, I really didn't want that culture. I wanted people to feel like, you know, when you take a promotion, you're committing to working harder. You know, you're committing to doing more, being more. And I think that's worked. You know, no one is disgruntled by the people at the top, because, you know, when we are active, we work as hard as our teams do, and I think the respect, like Ray said, is there because of that.
What I also like in SoA is that you don't have to be active. You do something IRL, you can retire and you can go to play. Not like there are requirements. There are some to join, but you're here, we respect you, and we want you to be here. You're not a number, you're a member.
I love
And I
that
think
saying.
that's really strong.
That's a really nice saying. You're not a number, you're a member. That's really good. Something jumping off what Ray said about being friendly and respectful as well, is I've never been in a community that is as tolerant and accepting as SoA is. Like, you know, we've got lesbians, we've got gay people, we've got transgenders, you know, we've got all types of life in SoA, and everyone accepts it mostly, you know, like people will accept people for who they are. And I think that attracts a lot of people. From the outside, they see that, and that's what makes them want to join.
Yeah, that's very true. And actually, I remember us talking about that was going to be very important, that we would be accepting of lots of different kinds of people. And we have, over our history, had some really kind of odd people who I feel probably wouldn't have found a home in many clans, but we worked with them to try and understand them, and try to get everyone else to understand them too, so that everyone else became accepting, and then somehow they fitted in, and I thought that was pretty good.
It is.
I was wondering if Joe wanted to say anything about any of your thoughts on the fact that we have like more than one or two leaders in SoA.
Sure what you mean.
Well, often in a clan you'll have one leader or maybe two, but in SoA our idea from the beginning was that as we built up, or if we built up that far, we didn't know how it was going to go, that we would always have more than one leader. and in fact we liked the idea of a team of leaders.
Yeah, but I don't really get the question about. I
Oh,
don't think there
okay,
has to
sorry.
be one leader. I think share the responsibility with. There are some who decide more than others, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
sorry, I didn't phrase it well.
Well, I think it works out very well because we're all really busy in real life. We all have jobs, and sometimes one of us will fade out for a little while, and other one, the other people pick up the slack. You don't have that pressure to always be here and always be super active. And there's a lot of different people with different points of view who can bring a different perspective to different issues. So it's been good.
It's jumping off of what Erica just said about the different views and different perspectives. Like that's something that we're a real big strength of us in SoA because, we have to make some big decisions sometimes. At the top, like whether that's requirements or when we've got difficult members, all these sorts of things, and we're all very different types of people. We've all got very different opinions, but having so many really balances out the decision-making process because I could come in and say this is how I feel, and then 2 days later when everyone else has commented, my opinion could have been completely flipped because I hadn't considered all of these other things that other people have brought to the discussion. And I think it gives me comfort to know that when decisions are made that they've had a lot of thought and that they are the right one. Don't know if you'd all agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Certainly.
I suppose it's not a dictatorship. Like Ray said, most clans only have 1 or 2 leaders, and we definitely don't treat SoA like it's a dictatorship.
All right. I'm not sure where we were with how everyone got into SoA.
I think only Erica.
Oh, I used to be in a clan with Brian going postal, and that had fallen through a little while before. Just everyone went inactive, and he one day PM'd me and said, "Why don't you try this clan out?" So I did, and I'm still here.
Yay!
That's short and nice.
I was in I led a clan before I joined SoA, and my co-leader at the time when our clan began to decline, we decided that we didn't have the energy to run a clan ourselves, so we wanted to join a clan. So he went away and looked on the forums and that, and came across SoA's forum post and said, "This is what I'd like to join." He said, "This is a great community." I said, "Yeah, sure, go on then. I'll join as well." And I'm here as one of the leaders, and he retired 3 years ago. He dragged me along, and I'm now still here. He's gone.
Very good.
Well, I think Brian is as well, so it's funny how that works.
I was in a clan with Max and Kyle before, and basically there was a little discussion with our leader when we were also leadership there about botting, and the leader there didn't respond quite well, and we ended up joining SoA. That's how we got here.
I was actually retired for quite a long time before I joined this clan. I hadn't really been in any big clans before. I had joined some, but never was really active. It wasn't really something I was looking for. And then I was actually retired from the game, and I went to university, and I met Shana, a member here, and she actually dragged me back out of retirement and also into this clan, and I'm still here. So
Great.
I've got a question for all of you, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
So, as a lot of you will know from when we read introductions and applications and stuff, a lot of people that join SoA that have been leaders before say that they're not interested in doing that anymore because it was too stressful, or because it was just too much work. How have you guys managed to do what you do for the length that you've done it, and remain passionate and focused about the game and the clan when problems arise, when it does get a bit heated?
What makes us do it is because we share all responsibilities, so this is also a bit shared. not as exhausting as leading a clan alone. You have people to rely on and count on them when you need to.
Yeah, that's very true. And because we've got a big staff team too, we cover all time zones. So there's pretty much always somebody on staff around if anything happens.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and I think, like Joe said as well, like how we all support each other. An example is we don't get upset when someone steps into, for example, with me and you leading recruitment, Ray. If Dan came in and did some interviews or promoted some people, we wouldn't get upset about that. It's like he's helping us and we're not too bothered. Or if we need to send an official PM to another member, like any member leadership could do that. It doesn't have to be a particular one, and I think that's something that makes us strong.
Yeah, for example, when my team, like when the recruitment was a bit low on members, so when there was a time when Xander, who was then elder, he was a bit retired. There was no Leon at the moment. Ray was still on events, I think. Scotty was retired, so there was like a moment where we were like a bit, yeah, the admin stuff wasn't getting done because like Sander was away. But then like Joe stepped up for a while and he did a lot of the work and he helped us out really well. So like the flexibility of our team is also really good.
Yeah, I have to agree with.
For me, when I first got on staff about 2 months after I joined the clan, even though I did tell myself I wouldn't this time round, but I was on and off staff quite a few times. If you look at my entry on the Master Historical list, it says promoted to staff, stepped down, promoted to quite a few times. And for me, I kept feeling as though I needed to come back because I missed the people. I missed working with very talented, very unique, very intelligent individuals, and that's what's kept me here. I think it's members of the clan and members of staff and leadership who are very, very talented, very passionate people, and I think that passion rubs off. And I think if you're working with a group of talented, passionate people, you naturally become talented and passionate yourself because you can learn from each other, you work with each other, you kind of pick up some of their traits. So I find myself being drawn back to it again and again because of the people.
Yeah, definitely. Like just like working on stuff and leadership, I don't know, it makes you feel even more part of like the whole community and being able to contribute to that. It's really nice and it just like it keeps you hooked on the game, it keeps you hooked on the clan. Just like if you can contribute to something, it's even like more fulfilling to be in it.
Yeah, staff aren't, I think I can say this for every member of staff. Staff isn't a power position. It's not something you do to get any kind of authority or control. Staff serve the clan. We're here to help facilitate the clan, make sure it's running smoothly. I don't think any of us would consider ourselves in positions of power more than
No.
positions of being
Yeah, exactly.
the clan's servants almost. We're the people who look after the clan, who make sure that it's got everything it needs.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
We're almost
Like
like
just-
a facilities team.
Yeah, but it's so nice. Like if you like work hard and you do a lot of stuff, then you can see how like the clan progresses from it, how it like benefits the clan. Like if you can see like that it pays off what you're doing, it just like yeah, it's very fulfilling.
So here's a question for everyone. You're talking about from how do you feel doing the job? You're not feeling like you're in a position of power, more like helping others. But how did you feel when you were asked to be part of the leadership team?
That's actually not that long ago. Scotty, has it been a month? Or
Close to, yeah.
yeah. It was an exciting moment, yeah. It was unexpected. It's you just feel honored that they're like considering you for such a position. Also like you also feel honored that like your the work you've been doing gets acknowledged. That like they know that people like what you've been doing for the clan, and yeah, it's an honor. Yeah.
And Jordan?
That's pretty much, yeah. I sometimes, like, for example, when I was promoted to Eldar, I kinda saw it coming. I'm not sure how, but it felt natural to get the red color, I guess. Yeah, when I got Lion, I was really, really honored, and I really wanted to do my best again. With Eldar, it was so much more. It was a really great honor. And when they ask you, they also ask if you are going to be busy, and really shows that this work doesn't have to be more important than what you're doing in real life. Because real life comes first. It should always be a game.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why we have a couple of leaders on every team. Like, for example, like Ray and Scotty are busy like IRL at the moment, so I can do more of the work. So like, if someone has things going on IRL, there are always like other people that can like take over the work for a bit. Like we can like share the work, so no one has to do something when they have other things IRL that need priority.
Yeah, exactly.
And Erica.
Well, I think they pretty much covered it. I mean, I don't remember exactly. It's been a few years, but yeah, just like they've noticed that I've been doing a good job, and they want me to help with bigger decisions and stuff. So it was good. I mean, obviously, I like that I'm still here.
Exactly.
Which is good.
Well, here's a question. Be honest. This is for everyone, what's your most embarrassing screw up in your time in the clan?
Oh, I got one.
For me, definitely the SoA Minecraft server. It's taboo. We just don't talk about it anymore. It was so bad. I thought it was a good idea. I regret every moment of it. It was horrific in the end, and every time it's mentioned, I just kind of slink away into a corner.
I don't
but
even know about that.
You know
We-
there's a video on YouTube of it, right?
Yeah, there is, and I keep meaning to hide it.
Can someone send me a link of that later?
At the time we were considering kind of, we had a Guild Wars clan. We were talking about kind of, doing things in other clan. Quite a few of us have played World of Warcraft, and and at the moment some people are playing Final Fantasy. So we do enjoy playing other games with each other, and I'm a huge fan of Minecraft, and I do run a couple of servers. But we thought it would be good to get everyone in, together from SoA onto a Minecraft server, and it didn't work, and everyone got a bit pissed off with it, really. There were, tellings off, and the amount of kind of work that went into managing this thing that wasn't even, RuneScape related. We are still RuneScape related, was just horrific. So definitely for me, trying to create a Minecraft server.
I think my biggest mistake was when I was tried to have a bit of fun, and I decided to change everyone's name on the forums to a Star Trek character. So I was Captain Janeway, I changed Ray to like Captain Picard, and so everyone on the forums had a different display name or theme to Star Trek, and all the ranks were changed as well. And it was funny at first, everyone found it hilarious, but then it got so confusing because no one knew who anyone was. And trying to go back to change everyone's names back to their original was very difficult, and that was looking back, it was awful.
I did think that was pretty funny, but I am a Trekkie. Can't really think of anything particular. I remember at one RuneFest trying to understand Chris, Diggy, and the accent. I don't know what it is, but Dan had to keep translating for me.
Both English can't understand each other.
Chris is from Newcastle, and he's gonna laugh and take the piss out of me for that. But he's from up north, and the further you get up north, the kind of more different it is to your kind of idea, the international idea of how people from Britain speak. But we don't have anybody from Aberdeen yet. If Erica was to meet somebody from, well, I think you have, Kay, yeah, they are really not great to understand.
I remember that well. Yeah, Erica would kind of nod and smile, then turn to me and say, "I'm sorry, what?"
Or I think I knew what he had said, but it was wrong. It was something else.
I'm trying to think about something, but it's probably not supposed to be told here because it's confidential. So we're just going to skip this?
I don't really have a screw up on stuff or anything. All I can think of is like out of context screenshots and everything. I think everybody has those.
Oh yeah, I used to be on there every day.
Yeah, I had a bad one of those. That was
Oh
when
yeah,
we were
I
making
know
the
my
Vex.
biggest biggest mess up. I was promoting an event in the clan chat, and I usually say I want a head count, and one day I forgot to type an O, so I wrote head count.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was bad.
That's my biggest mess up ever.
My
But it
bad
was
is.
funny.
Yeah, Ray, go ahead.
It was really funny because Joe never swears or anything. So when he came out with that in CC, everybody immediately knew it was a typo.
And I was
I think-
saying head count so much, and suddenly it was a head count, and I was like, no.
Poor Joe.
I think my worst out of context thing was I was like telling someone about like I'm training to be a teacher, and I was like saying something that like the in context it was something that I said like that I don't really like teaching very little kids, but I prefer like older ones, like teenagers. And the screenshot became like I don't like little kids, I prefer teenagers. Yeah. So people laughed at that a lot, and it was like in someone's signature as well. So.
You
Oh
little
dear.
pedo.
I think I'd change that tone. I'd say I think your biggest screw up is the out of context you did about 10 minutes ago, where you said that recruitment team are birth givers.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I looked it up, and there are midwives, Sander.
Doesn't sound.
That doesn't
Okay,
make
let's
any
figure that out. Like, doesn't sound too well.
That does not translate at all.
Not well, does it?
Okay, many of you have stepped down for a while, I think.
I haven't.
And
Yeah, but you've only been
Yeah, I
here
did
2
for
months.
1 month.
I think we've got a lot of people from staff and from leadership that have stepped down in the past, that are either retired now or have returned.
yeah,
But-
but Ray, if I'm correct, you've never retired from your role. Since you created the clan almost 6 years ago, you never stepped down or anything. What's kept you engaged and interested in RuneScape as a game?
That's a good question. I like RuneScape itself because I can do whatever I want and I can set my own pace. I don't have to compete against anybody if I don't want to, and I can take 12 years to max, and that's okay. So I like that aspect of it. SoA, well, this is the clan that we made to fit us, and most of the time, except for a moment or two here and there throughout our history, I've always felt that I do fit in SoA. There's been a couple of moments where I thought, oh my god, I don't fit anymore. But, you know, I got over that pretty quickly. We won't talk too much about those moments.
Just for the record, if Ray can max, everyone can.
Haha.
No way.
Yeah, it only takes 12 years.
Yeah, race master historical list entries.
Yeah, I just found that. It just says Princess Ray, founder, joined as Eldar 28th of February 2010, current.
Wow.
That's
It's a fairly
that's
short
smooth.
entry.
So, what are the
I
main
can-
goals for the clan right now?
Oh, we actually have
Um,
a thread for that.
Maybe we
They-
can like explain for every team what the goals are.
So
Yeah.
for people that don't know, every year we review the goals and post what we're going to do for the next year, unless that's changed. But usually it's once just around the clan's birthday, you kind of look at what we got, take the clan surveys into account, and then we set like kind of leadership aims for what we can do in the next year to make the clan better. And those are actually posted publicly, so people can see what we're trying to do. Especially if they can relate to them, then they're kind of probably the best people to maybe start thinking about stuff they want to. In this, you would have kind of heard that it's not actually that much of a burden, and we're not going to kind of train you to a desk and say you need to work all the time, and it's okay to kind of have real life. So if you are thinking about it and you do relate to kind of what we're saying and kind of the clan vibe, then you should definitely think about it next time that people, next time that we're thinking about having more staff people in, or even just messaging us to say I might be interested in future.
We definitely what Martin just said, and we've been talking in leadership for a while now. We've been talking about like the values of the clan and what they mean to us, and like we wanted to be able to use these values, like consider them when we recruit people into the clan or when we promote people to staff. Is like what does SoA mean to us as a group, and what does it mean to be a member of SoA? And so far, like we've translated them into kind of like small phrases, kind of like meaningful phrases. And like the first one is create an approachable clan that's helpful and friendly. So going back to like what Ray said at the start of the interview, to create a clan that's enthusiastic and contains people that embrace the journey of the game and the clan, a clan that has good energy, that has infectious attitudes, accepting and tolerant of all kinds of people, and everyone has a common interest to create strong bonds within the community, with each other and with the community in general. So I think all of those things combined, I think those would probably represent what our goals are, but that kind of reflects what our goals have been for us since we started, I think.
Okay. You're all supposed to say okay, Van. We're playing the okay game.
Okay.
Okay.
One.
Go on? We do have several kind of games, don't we, in the CC? How did the OK game come about?
Do you remember?
It was before my time.
Oh, okay. Well,
Okay.
what happened was, yeah, I know. I was about to laugh at that too, and then I thought, geez, I'm not that funny. A bot came into the CC, and we realized one day that if you said its name and then asked a question, it would answer you, and it would always say just one thing. So it would always say, okay. So this one day, once we worked this out, we had a lot of fun with it. We actually went and stalked it in game, and we had a conga line going behind it in Edge because it was smithing, I think. But in the CC, we were having a lot of fun with it by asking us various questions, and the answer would always be okay.
Do we
That's
want-
hilarious.
Do we want to
Yeah,
know what
little-
kind of questions were?
First they were just, how's your smithing going? Okay. What kind of a day are you having? Okay. But then it was like, do you want a date? Okay. Would you like to go out with? Okay.
It was a
I
very
won't
odd
say
bar.
more than that.
How did
Yeah, it
the
was an odd
spotting
bot.
game start?
I don't actually know the answer to that question. It kind of just happened.
Yeah,
Just randomly saw someone and you said spotted, and it's
I have a feeling that someone from another clan said that they used to do it, and we all thought, oh, well, that's a good idea. And so we just made it into spotting, you know, that you had to say the word spotted.
They should make a title just for our clan. Like Princess Ray, the Spotted.
The spotted, yeah, that'd be a good title, wouldn't it?
Roving the Spottier.
We've also got a really irritating yet fun game that we play on TeamSpeak, the counting game.
1.
2.
3.
3.
Ah.
That
Maybe
was
we can start again.
1.
2.
3.
3.
Oh.
We failed.
It
See,
can get very tedious.
This was a game we used at school to kind of keep people, you know, keep the kids calm.
Calm?
Yeah, you
Don't
know,
need
kind
to
of
get
like
calm in TeamSpeak.
to focus, and everyone's quiet except for one voice.
Oh. Forgot to say about the OK game before. Now we tend to play it if the CC's gone completely quiet. Someone will just start it off and say OK, and then we'll see how many different people we can get in a row that just say OK. I think our record is 9.
Every time I try it, I just get no replies. Just blank.
Was
That's
CC
trying
now.
it.
Isn't there also the Pmod combo breaker that's become very common?
I wonder why that's.
I think that came about in a chat called RS Outreach because Jeff was part of that, and I was part of that a long time ago, back just as it was being kind of conceived. And because the amount of PMods that were in there, because obviously it was part of the kind of PMod initiative, if you broke their combo, it'd be combo breaker, which is kind of like reference to kind of classic 90s games.
Ah, okay.
How many PMods are there in this clan actually?
I
Too
don't know.
many.
Too many. We need
Yep.
to have a cull, don't we?
How many?
Probably
That's
like
the question.
20%.
How
We
much?
had like 6 at RuneFest, I think. I don't know. Does anyone have that picture with Monina?
There are quite a few, but I think that's indicative of SoA because PMods are people who want to help out in game. You know, they want to kind of grow the community and be, you know, contributing factors to, you know, good community. And they're the sorts of people that SoA attracts because those are the values that we also try to model in the clan. So we do get a lot of PMods, and we do get a lot of people in the clan who are promoted to PMod because we share the values that Jagex look for in their player moderated team.
Well said.
It's not because we're a Jagex test clan or anything.
You beat
Nope.
me to it.
With all
Had
the
to say it,
Gmods
didn't you?
hiding. Biggest secret ever.
Well, one of our former players who decided they weren't so happy with us accused us of being a Jagex test clan, not a real clan.
What does that even mean?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
What does that mean? What do they test us on?
I don't know. It could be scary. It's probably they stick red buttons on top of the forum to see who psychs out. Of course, in our clan, that'd be no one.
Oh no, a Gmod. We'd get all the fans from Twitter.
Maybe it's like the Big Brother house. Maybe we're all like actually being observed through glass, and like there are people with notepads and.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
of course.
What's that
So
film
the
with Jim
people
Carrey
observing
where
us.
that film with Jim Carrey where he doesn't know that he's in some kind of reality TV show?
Truman Show.
That one. It's like that.
Ah. But the people watching us would have to be really bored, surely.
Yeah, day 8, a Clarion still at Livid Farm.
Yeah, riveting stuff. Day
2
9,
p.m.
Ray's still standing in the bank.
I was just about to say that.
What were you about to say?
I was 2 p.m. Ray, still bank standing.
Yeah.
Oh, we have one more question from John. Dan, what does your username mean?
This is an interesting thing actually, because when I saw that that was a question, I actually went away and tried to work out what my RuneScape name meant, and it turns out it's a character from Lord of the Rings that I didn't know. So, you know, as of earlier today,
Hey,
it's a
wake up.
character from Lord of the Rings.
So how did you end up picking it in the first place?
Originally, it was just something I pulled from a Dungeons and Dragons name generator for when I was creating a Dungeons and Dragons character, and I thought, actually, that sounds like a good name.
Alright.
The issue is that because it's a character in Lord of the Rings, as I've just discovered, that's probably the reason that it's taken in every game except RuneScape. So I can't use it as a name anywhere else.
Well, in that case, you're lucky. More or less. We also have a question from Rod. Prepare yourself. What level leadership have you all reached, and which method did you find best for training it?
Like when I read that question at first, I was like, "What does he mean?" Like, but then someone explained to me that it's a joke, and I felt really stupid.
Well, clearly Scotty and Ray are level 120, and I guess the other elders are 99, and maybe the Leons are like 97. I don't know.
What
And
about
how's
people
it
with-
trained? Bank standing?
Yeah, bank standing is the best method.
And editing the master historical list, that's the grind.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's been days where I've been doing forum stuff and never actually get into the game, so... Or if I am, then yes, bank standing, so...
Yeah.
I think there's some truth to that.
What do I get for working my way up to leadership twice? Maybe 3 times.
Prestige, it was a skill reset.
Yeah.
Talking about RuneScape things I don't know about.
And will we ever see anyone wearing the Master Cape at RuneFest?
A leadership master cape. Now that's a good idea.
Ray already achieved that. It's an award that you get.
We have to find somebody who can sew and not just sew people if we want to end up with a case of RuneFest.
Hey, Dan did a pretty good job with that Vex.
Or
He
we could,
did.
we could
That's a good
sew
point.
the cape on the back of someone, and Erica can do it. No?
That'd be a little weird.
But very stylish.
And painful.
And for all of you, which year of RuneScape is your favorite?
At the moment, judging by kind of updates past, present, and future, I think 2016. I think 2016 looks like it's going to be a very good year. I look forward to sampling that vintage.
For me, but I think like 2012, 2011. Yeah, about that.
Why?
2011 was definitely the best. But I think 2015 was pretty good too. Because it wasn't as much as LoL ELC. People really accepted RS3.
Well, personally, I preferred the game before EOC. I've adapted to it now, and like I probably couldn't translate back now anymore. But like 2012, like the bit before EOC, for me was the best.
I think I suppose my favourite year, most memorable year, is probably 2010, 2011, because of SoA. And that's not just a cheesy response, it's when you create something, you get quite emotional when you see it working, if that makes sense. So seeing all these people come in and actually love the clan and really enjoy being part of it and seeing it grow, unexpectedly grow, those are my most memorable moments because we did a lot of fun stuff.
Oh, a question about that. What would be your favorite SOA birthday?
Probably birthday number 2.
I'd
Was
have
that-
to say.
Sorry, go on, Dan.
No, you go first.
I think birthday number 2 because the first birthday it was very intimate and it was really good. But birthday number 2 we had grown so much and there were so many more people attending that again it was really emotional.
See, my answer sounds a bit kind of selfish now after that.
Well, that was the point. We planned it that way.
We
I
all
was gonna
set
say-
it up.
So I was going to say my favourite birthday was the 3rd birthday, 2013, because we went to Corp Beast and got a Divine Sigil drop, and so it was 20 mil each for every person that was there.
Oh, yeah.
all 20 people, you know, it was 400 mil at the time. But Scotty said he said I'm one more kill and then kind of the event's over, and the last kill we got a Divine Sigil drop.
Damn.
I actually joined the guild before the sigil back then. I was like, what? I felt bad.
I remember everyone's reaction on TeamSpeak when that happened. It was immense. They're just shouting for 5 minutes like, whoa, my god, whoa.
So the moral of the story is that we have to get Scotty to end an event, a bossing event, because when he does it, we get a drop.
Yeah, okay.
That's a good theory if it works.
I don't think it works.
If it works.
I've got a question for you all. What do you hope, or what do you look forward to SoA being in the future? Where do you want to see it go next? If anything.
I don't know about next, but I mean, hopefully it keeps on being as good as it's been this far. I mean, a lot of clans sort of lose steam and peter out, and so far we haven't, so hopefully we keep that going.
I'm looking forward to the
Good.
10th birthday.
That'll be a good one to celebrate for sure.
Yeah.
What are we coming up to in February? Is it 6th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad. Not bad.
Coming back to actually one of the memorable moments, one I've actually forgotten about is, I can't remember which year it was. I think it was year 4. Up until year 4, we'd never been like driven by, and we still aren't driven by like, you know, high scores or anything like that. Like we were just a clan and we wanted to be us. But when we stumbled across where Spirits of Arianwyn sat in the clan high scores, it was immensely surprising. You know, like we hadn't really considered where we had sat in the high scores, but then we realised that we was actually rank, I think it was 25 at the time, so the 25th ranked clan in the entire game, and that was just a shock to us because we had never been driven by XP or by level. So I think that was quite
What
a
are we
nice
looking at?
surprise for us.
What are we now?
38.
See, that's not bad because for a time we weren't kind of particularly active, as in we were there, we were still around, but kind of we didn't have the drive at one point, and now that we have. So I don't think that it's bad to be at that place, especially in the top 50.
Absolutely, because we don't have entry requirements. You know, there's no strategic thinking around wanting the best members or anything like that. So it's just quite nice, I think.
I think we want the best members in terms of nice
Community.
people, good, fun people that are decent and respectful. That's kind of what best means to us. It's not anything about levels or apes or anything.
Yeah.
All right. Then I think that concludes the Q&A.
Thank you. It was fun.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Director Kingley.
Did you really just call me Kingly?
He
Kingy.
did.
Oh,
Every
fired.
single person calls me Kingly.
I was laughing.
Going mental.
Your Pokemon should be Kingly on the forums.
Oh my god.
You know, for Pokemons.
Wow.
Apologies, Director. More enough.
Well, thanks for participating.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For your
Thanks.
time, everyone.
Chairs.